Where on earth did these weird bootleg DVD sets come from? Well, I found them both thrifting for $2.99 each. 67 movies for the price of $6. Now, I usually go to these thrift stores looking for mostly VHS, but I look through the DVDs and Blu-rays as well. This one caught my attention because it was just so weird. I was like, wonder what they got on here, you know? Yoshi, you're right in the camera. Anyway, I was thinking, maybe it has some old Hammer Dracula films and stuff like that. I don't have many of those in the collection. I'd like to pick it up. I looked on the back, and this thing was ridiculous. I knew immediately it was a bootleg. Now, if you're saying, you should be able to tell by that cover. Nah. So let's take a look at the back of this thing. So this set has 31 films. 31 vampire movies. Well, vampire movies. Let's talk about some of these. The Lost Boys, classic. I have that on 4K now. I don't need it in this set, but I really didn't buy this set because I was like, man, this is a great deal. It's a great set. These movies are going to look excellent or anything, I thought it'd be an interesting purchase, something that would make for an interesting video even here. So I'm just going to list these films off to you. So there's Van Helsing, Vampire in Brooklyn, Vampire Conspiracy, never heard of that one, Vampire Hunter, An American Werewolf in Paris. I honestly haven't seen that movie. Is there a vampire in it? There could be. Vampires Los Numeros, Vampire Diary, Underworld, From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Vampire Hunter D, Dracula 2000, Underworld Evolution, The Vampire Lovers, Requiem for a Vampire, Shadow of the Vampire, Blade 2, Blade Trinity, From Dusk Till Dawn 3, Interview with a Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Dracula 3, Fright Night 2, Queen of the Damned, Vamp, and From Dusk Till Dawn. Now let's pop one of these discs in and see what these look like. So when I was popping this in, I was curious what it was going to look like. Is it even going to load? Are these movies going to be compressed so low that they look like shit? The first disc I loaded had Fright Night 2 on it, and I was interested in that because I don't have a copy of that on DVD or Blu-ray. I do have a VHS ripped copy. Like somebody copied a VHS and I have like an extra copy, like a blank VHS that has a copy of the movie. There's no commercials or anything though, so I assumed it was just a duplicate. So the Fright Night disc didn't actually work, and I was worried. I was like, oh god, none of these are going to work. What a waste. Can't even record anything and talk about it. But the next disc I put in worked. Now when you put the disc in, you're greeted with a ridiculous menu. And I got to see a little of Christopher Lee as Dracula. But let's talk about these DVD menus first. So this DVD menu is absolutely pathetic and hilarious. Obviously, it's a bootleg. It just loops though. Like, obviously all DVD menus loop, but this one loops after like 4 or 5 seconds. And it starts to play this like triumphant music that does not fit at all with Vampires or Zombies, the other set that I got, which we'll get to. I will say the movie itself was watchable though. I could see how if you're in another country and this is the only way to access some of these movies, why you would have this. And you know what? I could sit there and I could watch some of these if it was like all I had, like it was the apocalypse, and I'm that guy who roams the lands with all the DVDs and hoards the DVD players and things like that. This would still be a set worth having in that scenario. Aside from that, I did find a clue as to where these are from though, the subtitles. Now the subtitles are clearly Arabic, but just to clarify, I don't actually speak Arabic or know what it looked like. I thought it looked Arabic, I looked it up. Based on that sample, that's the conclusion I came to, so it could be something else, but looks Arabic to me, which checks out. During my teen years, my dad was actually in Afghanistan, and he would come back with these discs that he would buy in towns that would be like 20 James Bond movies on 2 or 3 discs in a set, that he would buy to entertain himself. But they were much worse quality than this is. Like the actual movies on the discs looked much shittier, but I still watched them. So I guess that solves the mystery of where they came from. Now let's take a look at the zombie set. Now before I start listing off the movies on here, I think you have to understand that whoever put this together is not very well versed in American horror or horror movies or cinema in general. We could probably go through and count, but there are at least 3 movies on this set that are not zombie movies. But let's list them off, right? The Hills Have Eyes. Wait a minute. You'd think the first movie on here would actually be a zombie movie. Night of the Living Dead. Okay, good. Plaga Zombie, Mutant Zone. I don't know that one. 28 Weeks Later. Okay. Mutant Chronicles. Don't know if that's a zombie movie. Could go either way, to be honest. I Am Legend. Nope, that's a vampire movie. That could go on the other set. Necropolis. I'm interested. Zombie Chronicles, Zombie Holocaust, 28 Days Later. City of the Living Dead. Land of the Dead. The Hills Have Eyes 2. And that's the sequel to the remake. That's not the original Hills Have Eyes 2. Return of the Living Dead. Undead. Zombie Flesh Eaters. Flight of the Living Dead. Virgin Muertos Vivintis. Like, I've never heard of that, but that looks awesome. Zombie 3. 30 Days of Night. Zombie Bloodbath. The Hills Have Eyes remake. Again, Hills Have Eyes is not about zombies, but whatever, I guess. I do like those movies. Diary of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. Zombie Death House. The remake of Night of the Living Dead by Tom Savini. Zombie Something Massacre. I can't really read that. Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Resident Evil Extinction. Resident Evil Apocalypse. Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead 3. The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. Zombie Honeymoon. Zombie 2. Zombie Wars. So again, this is a very similar set, obviously put out by the same people. I found them right next to each other at the thrift store. But look at that atrocious artwork too. But that's part of the fun of it, isn't it? I somehow actually like the vampire artwork better. But the vampire artwork looks like it also might just be a black metal band or something, and they like sharpened the teeth with Photoshop. So let's pop one of these in and talk about the movie quality again. So Resident Evil, honestly, again, these things look decent enough for what they are. I'm not like a guy who goes out of my way to get bootlegs of stuff on purpose. If I see it out in the wild and I think it's interesting, I'll buy it. But to be honest, most of the movies here that I like, I already own. And I own several times over some of them. There's a few here, maybe, that I wouldn't have bought on any other format. And it's just kind of cool to have stuff like this in your collection. But let's take a look at some of the discs themselves, show you what these look like. So if we open this up, which I don't think I've done on the camera yet, so it's kind of important for this video. These are the inside cases. Each one of these has a thin one and a regular one that fits 4, but with no other artwork. And they are clearly just burned discs with very badly made labels. So as you can see, this is disc 4 of the Zombies collection. They all have lots of like fingerprints, and they're all not in great conditions. And they're all templated the same, basically, just with that bad artwork on the front and then the movie posters, or some of them are just DVD covers ripped, put on there and stuff. They're both 8-disc sets, so I don't know, I just thought they were interesting. I thought some other people might find them interesting. Let me know what you think of these weird sets in the comments down below. And if you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.